To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to introduce the zoning board of appeals members. Can everybody hear me okay? To my left is Tom Lay and Kelly Cochran. To my right is Ralph Buccino, Matt DeMarco, and I'm Tom York. The town staff is Elizabeth Lingenberg, our clerk of the board, Paula Ruthman, zoning officer, Ron Brand, director of development, and Caden Lloyd, zoning officer, code enforcement officer. Right, there were two emergency exits, one to your right and one to your left, in case there is one, which we don't anticipate. This meeting will be conducted in accordance to the rules and procedures of the Zoning Board of Appeals adopted on January 27th, 2025. I'd like to have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
I'll move. And I'll second.
Second by Ralph, all in favor?
Aye.
There were 4 legal notices for tonight's meeting that postings on the town hall bulletin board, town's website, and also on the Daily Messenger on March 18th. I'd like to start with opening the public hearings. The first would be ZB 2026-0201 for Aaron George, 183 Honeysuckle Lane, Farmington, New York, 14425. An area variance involving tax map account 1.19-2-27.003. Corner lot of the Sweetbriar subdivision will allow relief from the town code requirement, chapter 165-35, schedule 1I. Or relief from the setback requirement to construct an enclosed mudroom with an open porch in the RS-25 residential suburban district. The applicant is asking for a 9-foot relief from the 50-foot setback requirement. So who's going to stand up, state your name and address for the record?
My name is Aaron George, and my address is 183.
Where is yours?
So as you mentioned, I'm looking to put a enclosed mudroom in a small covered porch on the front of my home. Currently, when you walk into the house, there's a kind of a major pinch point for traffic flow with it opens right up into the living room as well as up to the stairs. And with my busy family and all the things that we do, constantly kind of doors opening into where people are coming down the stairs and stuff's everywhere. And so what I'm proposing is a 6x8 front mud entry on the house, as well as a covered front porch, front stoop that extends out to the house, which does require relief from the current setback. Sorry, first time, right?
Is that fine? Anything else? Is that it?
No.
Good. Okay. Staff comments?
Which staff?
Any staff? Director of Development? Going
Yeah, you have 2 draft resolutions, which I assume, Aaron, you received. One for seeker and one for conditional approval.
Sorry, I'm not.
Did you receive we emailed you the resolutions?
You did read them and you
Yes.
understand them.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Do you have any questions? Okay, the first resolution is satisfying the environmental laws of the state. Type 2 action. That's all that has to happen, is just designating a type 2 action. The other one is conditional approval, which is the standard conditions that we put on these variances. If the applicant has no questions, I have no questions.
Paula or Hayden?
I'm good.
I don't have anything additional. It's pretty basic, straightforward.
Public comments from the room or online? We have 2 people online, look like it.
We have a few. There's a,
Any comments? All right, hearing none, how about boards? Any comments?
No comment.
Looks pretty.
straightforward.
No comments? All right, I'll close that public hearing. Okay, we have the next one up, and there's actually 2 under the same applicant. I'd like to open them together if you have no objections, Arian. Okay, the first one is ZB 2026-0202 for Adrian Ellis, located at 5540 Road, Farmington, New York, 14425, for an area variance involving tax map count 9.03-1-6.400, will allow relief from the Town Code Requirements, Chapter 165, Section 58B, to construct a private garage with a maximum height of 25 feet as measured from existing grade to the peak roof. Proposed private garage is classified as an accessory structure with a principal structure on the lot, and the property is zoned A-80 agricultural. And then the second one is ZB 2026-0203, located at the same address, will allow relief from the Town Code Requirement, Chapter 165, Section 10, to construct an accessory structure containing a total of 4,320 square feet in area. Town Code defines an accessory structure. Structures shall be subordinate in area, extent, or purpose to the principal building or principal use served, contributes to the comfort, convenience, or necessity of occupants of the principal building or principal use. To construct a private garage to be located in the rear portion of the lot containing a total of 4,230 square feet in area. Property is zoned A-80 agriculture. State your name.
How you doing, board? Yeah, I'm just trying to get approval for an accessory structure, or a private garage, so I can store my stuff outside of it's outside right now, so it's all covered and taken care of. Is what I'm looking for. Questions you have besides that?
Staff comments?
Yeah, you received communications from the town planning board. They have a application for a amendment to Mr. Bellis's final site plan, which is dependent on the 2 area variances that are before your board. Because the accessory structure, a private garage, is 4,320 square feet. It's over the threshold of a type 2 action. It doesn't meet the threshold for a type 1 action. Therefore, it's an unlisted action, subject to 2 boards. They've asked that you agree with their declared intent to be lead agency. If you do that tonight, then they can designate themselves the lead agency on April 1st, their next meeting. If you aren't ready to do that, then the next opportunity you would have would be beyond the 30-day period for the coordinated review. So you would automatically default to the request of the planning board. So that's one of the first things that you can do. The other thing that you can do is take testimony, ask questions of the applicant. And then finally, just want to bring to everybody's attention that the town board tomorrow night has received a draft local law moratorium on accessory structures. Tentatively, they are going to schedule that public hearing for April 8th, or 14th, excuse me. The county planning board meets on the 11th. So they, if everything falls into place, they would be able to enact the 6-month moratorium that evening, following the public hearing. If not, it would be later. The applicant, in the meantime, has the right, which he's exercising, to submit applications for review under existing code provisions. The only thing to caution is that in the event that a final decision is not made prior to the enactment of the moratorium, either filing with the Secretary of State, then it could stay any further deliberations until that moratorium is lifted or new regulations are put in place.
Any public comments? Board?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a pretty sizable structure that you're looking to do, Adrian.
Mhm.
Is this the smallest structure you could do to accomplish what you want, or could you downsize them?
I mean, I probably might be able to downsize it, but then I'd probably be back to do another addition at some other time, so I'd rather build it once and have it one looking thing instead of piecemeal together. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it once and for everything I have to store.
And the storage that you're talking is for automobiles, or is it automobiles and other things?
It's a private garage, so I can store
Yeah.
whatever I need to store in there, yeah. I mean, so, I mean, yeah, it'd be for cars and my personal and stuff. First, private garage for whatever I can put in there. Cause right now, if you go by, it's all sitting outside. The majority of it is outside, so.
Right.
And I just don't wanna piecemeal it with one structure and then come back and get another variance for adding on something like that, and then so spend the money upfront one time, be done.
What's the reason for the 25-foot? Why so tall?
Because my sidewall is 14 foot to the top of, before the peak, and because of the code, the way it's written right now, it's for 15 foot from the peak down, so I'd have a sidewall of 8 foot, so I want the extra height for whatever I do inside there, so my sidewall is 14 foot to the, before the peak starts. So I want to have that space for, I'm gonna have a taller overhead doors, so I can get bigger stuff in there, or whatever I have.
Is this the, Mike?
Yeah.
Is this the only location on the property that?
Yes. Because of where my septic system is on my property and the way there's a drainage swale going down the property over to the other properties behind me. Taper of the land is too, you know what I mean? This is the flattest area up there behind. And it's lined up sort of with my driveway behind part of my house, but not all of it. So I can still look across there and see the open fields behind all the rest of the neighbors' houses, you know? But because of the swale and my septic system, I can't put it anywhere else down farther behind, you know? And the peak of my house was just built a year ago. The peak of my houses, most of my peaks are 23 foot from the ground up to the top of my peak. So I mean, it's not gonna be standing above my house 40 feet higher. So I mean, I built a ranch home for me to, if I ever become old and can't do stairs or something, I built a small ranch home, but all my peaks on my building plans all say 23 foot from the peak down. So it's not like I'm going 10 foot higher than my house peaks, really. You know what I mean? I'm only going a few feet higher.
Okay.
And really, it's, the code goes by peak, not sidewall. Most towns around here go by sidewall. Peak. You have a peak thing, and I gotta go by peak. And I just want it all in one big structure so it looks clean and everybody's not seeing everything out in the backyard or on the side, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's my reasoning behind
Yes.
it all.
Okay, so I'd like to act on the two resolution, or a resolution, table this until the next meeting. Staff. Adjourn. So I can get a motion to accept that.
A motion.
Motion by Ralph, second by
Second.
Kelly. Roll call vote.
Ralph Pacino.
Aye.
Kelly Cox. Matt DeMarco.
Aye.
Tom Lynn.
Aye.
Tom Stewart.
Okay,
Here's table it, we're not voting on the stuff for the hearings to just continue it to next month?
yes,
The resolutions I got were just to continue it to next month's. Sign the one, go back to planning for site thing.
that was the next thing I was going. That's all part of the resolution that we're naming the planning board as the lead agency for this. Next public hearing. ZB 2026-0204 for Eric Honek, if I said that right, located at 6114 Caleb Court, Farmington, New York, 14425, for an area variance involving tax map account 41.01-1-93.000. To allow relief from the town code requirement, chapter 165-34.1. For relief from the minimum side setback requirement for a single-family residence in the incentive zoning district for the Hathaway Corners Incentive Zoning Project. The applicant is asking for relief of 8 inches from the 10-foot minimum side setback requirement. State your name and address for the record.
Onick, 2730 Transit Road. During construction of the house, pivoted the rear southwest building over the side setback line. Side setback requirements are 10 feet. The actual construction of the corner is 9.2 feet from the line. We're requesting an area variance of 0.08 feet from the zoning board of appeals. Within that, the request does not affect the fall or grading or drainage or any of the swale, either crust of swale or swale.
Staff comments?
Yes, we've classified this as we did with the first one, a type 2 action, as Susan specifies. What was that? We all set? Or we got gremlins?
They popped up.
Okay. Drafted a resolution to approve with conditions. Also want to refer to the town code officer who is prepared to respond to a communication that was sent to you for your review as well. If the person who wrote it is online or in the room, then perhaps they'd like to address that first.
That's the first.
The chat comment that came up is about drainage and flooding issues. And due to the swale and shared property between Caleb Court, any reduction in setback could also run off and exacerbate the conditions. I would strongly recommend a drainage assessment before granting relief.
Okay. So in response to the drainage concerns at this located property, I consulted with our town engineer, Lance, this morning about this. Upon our conversation, we looked at the final surveys that were done for 1512. That's the neighboring property behind it, which was called out specifically in the email. May 10th, 2024 is when the town received that final survey. And at that time, a review was completed by the town's engineer, MRB Group. They check the final survey against the master grading plan that was approved for the project originally. they found that the final survey was substantially conforming to the master grading plan, which is what we're looking for from them. The neighboring lots on Osborne and Caleb Court, they all drain to a point that's located between 1512 and 1514 Osborne, which is where this individual was talking about. So with this side setback reduction, that does not change the drainage features of this development. The backyard is still intended to drain to that catch basin that's located between those two properties. The front storm sewer, the gutter runoff, is essentially still tied into the town's storm sewer as every other house in that development. Because there's not an increase in lot coverage, the house is still the same size. The side setback does not alter the grading plan in the sense that there's not an increase in the amount of runoff. In a sense, the water is all still running to the places that it was designed to go to.
There's another comment.
What she got?
This comment says that I will agree with the above contracted amount of topsoil were never fulfilled and commitments made by the representative were blatant lies.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to what the realtor representative told them. What I can say is that the lots on Osborne and Caleb Court that have certificate of occupancies, the lots conform to the master grading plan. In the email, they also talked about some of the past issues within the development, and they specifically called out topsoil, which it looks like he is also calling out. So I also have a topsoil analysis that was done July 7th, 2023, and the soil samples were taken from 1514 Osborne Lane, as well as some of the topsoil stockpiles that they had around the development. So through this report, I mean, it goes on, it shows you pictures of the stockpiles that they took from, it takes pictures of them, doing the sampling. All in all, the soil sampling results were found to be in compliance with the, where is it here? So the samples were analyzed at a New York State qualified and accredited laboratory. The concentration levels of the minerals and metals for grass growth were compliant with all guideline values according to the Department of Primary Industries. All nutrients found in premium level topsoil. Basically saying that yes, the topsoil that they have put down is topsoil and that it is, what's supposed to be put down for grass growth. Exactly. Then the last thing that they called out in this email was that Caleb Court neighborhood was originally presented and understood to be patio home communities. The construction of a two-story residence represents a deviation from that original concept. So I pulled the original local law filing today, and in that local law, Caleb Court neighborhood, or the villas, was approved to have a maximum building height of 2.5 stories or 35 feet tall. There are other homes within the villas that are 2 stories. They are more of they have an upstairs with a loft area and a bathroom. This is more of your traditional 2-story house. It has a full second story, not the loft portion. But nonetheless is still in compliance with the original approvals. The other thing I think that's worth noting, within the original approval, they called for 40% maximum lot coverage. So I did some very rough math. The house is not a perfect rectangle, but I sized it up. So if anything, it would be less. So the house square footage with just the first floor, as far as the lot coverage goes, is 1,540 square feet. The lot size is 9,500 roughly. So it's ballpark a 16% lot coverage, which is, quite a reduction in what the maximum would be. And I think that goes further to explain the potential drainage issues that we're concerned about. They're well under the maximum lot coverage for the lot currently.
When you say MRB verified the grades,
Yeah.
surveyor go out and survey it again.
Yeah, so basically, when they do a final survey, Morano submits that survey to our office, at which point we send it to MRB Group. they look at that survey and they do a full in-depth analysis as far as the contours go to make sure that the water is getting to the swales or the catch basins or the stormwater ponds that it's intended to get to. If any notes or comments or anything, a variation from the master grading plan, those comments are sent back to Murano, and at which point, before they're able to get a certificate of occupancy, the grading or the survey has to be corrected so that it conforms with the master grade plan for the project. And what we have on file for 1512 and 1514 has been deemed in compliance with that. That's what I have in response to the email that we received.
Public comments at the same time. So any other comments from public in the room or online?
Did I address both comments?
Well, grade have tree line. Should grade have a tree line?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the street trees and stuff like that they're a part of it. If it's within the summer months, June 1st essentially to October 31st, depending on the weather, they have street trees that have to be installed as a part of the certificate of occupancy. If those lots are completed from November 1st to, May 30th, May 31st, then they're given a deadline essentially. May 31st is usually the deadline to have those items in and installed. I'm not sure what tree line exactly they're talking about, but there's a drainage swale between these properties, so, wouldn't be a tree line in there.
I may have missed this, so I'll apologize if I did. Normally, when you call upon somebody to speak at a public hearing, you ask for their name and address. I haven't heard any name or address from the online comment. So in order for us to accept that, we need to hear something as to who or what this is, in either in writing or verbal.
Anybody message, yeah.
Yeah, so all the people that are listening online, what is being asked of you is everyone in the room who has to speak has to say their name and address. So I'd ask you to do the same, so we have it for the record of who participated in this meeting. So how about D, full D?
Good evening. My name is Jason Drummy. I'm the homeowner at 1512 Osborne Lane.
Okay, thank you very much. We've had your comments, unless you want to add some now.
Yeah, I do appreciate that the builder can cite a document that was never presented to us during the purchase price or the purchase procedure and outline minerals that are in the soil. However, the contract stipulated 4 inches of topsoil. So I would love to see any type of documentation outlining that more than one singular dump truck load of topsoil was brought in for the entire lot grading process, which I witnessed. It did not occur. Furthermore, again, cite any document they want. There has been a lake in my backyard, which adjoins to the property in question, anytime that it is not frozen. So cite all the documents you want, sir, but we are the homeowners in this community. We are dissatisfied with the level of service and communication. And furthermore, the follow through, hence the fact that you built a house in the wrong spot. So I'm going to speak on my behalf. Everyone in this community has similar thoughts. Do with it as you will.
Okay, some of the things you bring up would be referred back to the town, because we're here for the applicant for 8 inches. That's the biggest thing that we're dealing with tonight. We're listening to your comments. They're on the record now. And if you want, you can meet with the town staff at a later date to talk about your issues.
This has been occurring for 24 months. Our ask is the community as to why accept further variances and give flexibility to a builder who fails to uphold the commitments to the continued individuals who have purchased in the community. So we are asking you to reject this request.
Okay, understood. Thank you for your comments. Okay, anyone in the room? State your name and address, please.
Mike Snacky,
We're all gonna get a chance, so.
I live at 1524 Osborne, just down the street. Similar to Jason on the phone, I have a swale in my backyard. I understand that it's supposedly draining correctly, but yesterday I probably had a foot of water in my backyard, which I had to manually push to the swale that exists around 6 feet over. I have some other prepared comments, and as far as it goes to whether or not this gets rectified, like if it comes down to they get a variance or there's a house 20 feet away from my house that is never sold and becomes, I don't know what, for teenagers and who else, I'd rather have variance granted. I'll just put that on record as well. When we first moved here 3 years ago, the home that existed at 6114 Caleb Court did not exist. It wasn't on the plot plan as far as we knew. My neighbors were told you'll never have back neighbors. That promise was broken, as were many subsequent promises for Hathaway's Corners. I understand that homes are complex things. It takes a lot of time, effort to deliver a superior product. We don't think that that promise has been made by Morano. We feel relatively unsatisfied with our purchase. I understand that the town of Farmington also seeks to be builder friendly. I think that's really wonderful, but being builder friendly and being buyer friendly aren't necessarily going to stand at odds, and we prefer that they actually stand hand in hand. And as far as it goes to Morano, I don't want to seem overly punitive, but like it just, I think if you went around at each neighbor, knocked on their door, said, "Hey, are you happy with your home?" They'd say, maybe. There's good days and bad days, things that make us upset, things that we were promised. There's been at least one instance where the house was delivered incorrectly and the buyer walked away from the sale. So there's stuff like that going on. And I understand that everyone makes mistakes, but this is just like one more drop in the bucket of mistakes that just keep happening. And we just want like someone that like just have someone answer the email. I'm finishing my basement. I applied for a permit. I go in my basement and there's a crack in my basement that has leaking water. I reach out to Morano, can you help me? They're not answering. Reach out again, they're not helping. And I have to do things myself. I understand that like I don't have a continual contract with you to help me, and I want to help myself. But when you're supposed to fix things and no one's listening, no one's answering, it becomes very frustrating. And I don't want to be like a jerk about the 8 inches. Because 8 inches, grand scheme of things, not a big deal. We just want to be heard. That's really what it comes down to.
Appreciate it, and you're being heard, and everyone else is gonna get a chance to speak, but it is about the resolution in front of us for the 8 inches. But it's still, the floor is yours. Who'd like to speak next?
I requested the town approve the variance. I do want to see our neighborhood built out and, all the buildings in the housing development built and finish that. So I can request from the town that is approved. Thank you.
Okay. Yes? I'm sorry,
Donna Burke, BRKE, 6108 Caleb Court. I live a few doors down from the property in question. And yes, it's a minor amount of inches, but I think it's indicative to the attention to detail and the lack of site supervision that this builder has given these properties. And I too would like to see a variance given because I want our community to continue to finish and build, and I don't want an abandoned house on the property. But myself and my neighbors in that little square inch that's by there refer to our backyards as Lake Morano. So while you say it is adhering to what it's supposed to adhere to, come out and take a look at it. We've got ducks now, like permanently living in Lake Morano with that. So something is not right about the drainage in our development. And this little piece of mismeasurement or whatever. It's really just the scratching the surface. I witnessed a house being built across the street from me during a windstorm, where the peak was, they were trying to lift the peak to the top of the house, crashed into the house, was going to crash into the neighbor's house. The woman inside was screaming, and the person holding the rope was going to be catapulted up if they didn't stop doing what they were going to be doing. Nobody was wearing hard hats. This is the kind of haphazardness that's going on over there, and it results in, while this is just a minor shift in property, what's happening is it's resulting in people having issues after their house is built and not getting any response from Milano. People putting signs up in their yard saying, "Buyer beware, call us." I wish that I could have my friends and neighbors live next door to me, but right now I would not recommend a friend, a neighbor, or someone I didn't even know who knocked on my door to live here. And it's a shame because Farmington is a great place to live. So while I want you to approve this variance, I see it as an opportunity to hold this builder accountable to supervision and professionalism. So that's all.
Okay. Understood, and you're heard. That's the best I can say, public forum, so thank you for your comments.
Can I say one thing?
Mhm.
So everybody that's having drainage issues, the only person I've heard of is Judy, and they regraded your yard a few times at the end of last year. We don't know there's issues until people are letting us know. So Judy let us know, and they tried. I don't know if it was ever totally resolved. They did regrade it twice, but we,
This condition that everything will drain, because we still have the standing water, but not nearly what we did. It's better.
so feel free to shoot me an email. I can give you my card after this, but I don't know there's issues until you guys, I don't live there. I'm only there for, in and out real quick. So, sorry.
No, that's fine, thank you, it's hopeful. These people know that they have an avenue to go to and advocate for. Any other public comments, online or in the room? Hearing none. Board members' comments.
Question for code enforcement. So assuming that the house is 8 inches closer to the setback, does that have any effect on? Even if
Zero.
that house is built haphazardly, not everything is done properly, will it still drain
Yes.
as it would have if it was originally built?
Yes. The roof runoff is still directed to our storm sewer, like every other house in the development, and the rear yard, regardless of the house location, is still designed to drain to the catch basin between 1512 and 1514, which is
8
behind it.
inches is not going to affect drainage in any way.
through my talks with the MRB, the town's engineer. No, it has zero effect on that.
There's additional comment online. I believe it's the person that sent an email.
This is the person who sent the.
Right now, we're talking with the board, so we
Sorry.
make sure everybody is set on the board. Questions?
No.
We want to entertain, we'll entertain the one more public comment before I close this public hearing.
It follows what she's. It's a reiteration of they tried and still not.
You take the name and address.
Yep. It's up to you if you want to make it part of the record.
It's on the record.
Or it is, anyway, yeah.
Part of the record, that's on.
Yeah, with their name and address, yeah, I didn't see that.
Isn't that the person that emailed us?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep,
Yep.
we already have that, Eamon.
So I hear more from our board. All right, I'll close this public hearing. We'll move on to board deliberations and decisions. First up is 2026-0201 Aaron George. Area variance. I have a motion to accept the seeker resolution and approve it as submitted by the town staff.
I'll make that.
Waive reading of the seeker.
A second.
Second by Kelly, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Also like to have a motion to waive the reading of the complete findings and decisions and read the determinations and conditions.
I will motion and second waive the reading of the complete findings of the decision.
Motion by Ralph, second
Second.
by Tom Blay, all in favor?
Aye.
Zoning Board of Appeals, after reviewing the above five proof, makes the following decision. The benefit to the applicant does outweigh any known detriment to the community or neighborhood, and therefore the requested area variance is granted with the following conditions. The exterior of the proposed addition to the principal structure is to match, to the extent practical, the exterior treatment and color of the existing principal structure. 2, the proposed addition shall be maintained by the property owner at all times. 3, any exterior light fixtures to be installed as part of the proposed building addition shall comply with the town's dark sky lighting regulation contained in Chapter 165 of the Town Code. A building permit shall be obtained by the applicant prior to the start of the construction. Understand it? Good, okay. Have a roll call vote, please.
Ralph Pacino,
Aye.
Lee Cochran,
Aye.
Matt DeMarco.
Aye.
Tom Lynch,
Aye.
Thomas York,
Aye. Have your variance. You're welcome. Okay, continue. ZB 026-0202 and 2026-0223. So we'll move on to ZB 2026-0224, Eric Honek. Again, I'd like to have a motion to waive the reading of the seeker and approve the resolution as submitted by the council.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kelly,
I'll second.
second by Tom Lay. All in favor?
Aye.
And then a motion to waive the reading of the complete findings and decisions resolution and read the determinations and condition as submitted by the town staff.
I will motion to waive the reading.
Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Zoning Board of Appeals, after reviewing the above five proofs, makes the following decision. That the benefit to the applicant does outweigh any no detriment to the community or neighborhood, and therefore the requested area variance is granted with the following conditions. Final site plan drawing for 6114 Caleb Court is amended, identifying the 8-inch setback dimension, and a note added to the drawing that this area variance has been granted, providing these conditions of approval, ZBA file number and the date of approval. The amended final site plan drawing is to be approved by the planning board prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy by the town code enforcement officer. The approved amendment final site plan drawing is to be made part of the town's property file for 6114 Caleb Court. You understand all of that? Okay. Yes. Can I have a roll call vote?
Ralph Pacino,
Aye.
Kelly Cochran,
Aye.
Matt DeMarco.
Aye.
Tom Lang,
Aye.
Thomas York,
Aye. You have your 8-inch variance. Next up, other board matters, zoning board of appeals, 2026 rules of procedure. Discussion. So did anyone on the board? No, because we voted on it for the continuation of it. Oh, that was a part of the resolution. Oh, my mistake.
Don't we need to stipulate that?
It's not stipulated in the resolution.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, if it wasn't clear in the resolution that you have no objections to the planning board being,
Yeah, right, we had, and that would be my mistake. When I asked if we,
I just didn't know if we needed to put it on, actually stated on the record. Okay,
Right, the planning board is, we appointed them. those
Okay.
agencies.
You have no objection.
No objection.
You didn't appoint anybody. You have, they have no objection
Objections.
to being designated lead. Now you can sign that and send it off to John Robitella before the meeting next week. Okay.
Sorry for the confusion. So, other board matters, zoning board of appeals, 2026 rules of procedure. Discussion, so. You'd seen them, did anyone have comments about them?
good.
So, I would like to have a motion to accept the new rules of procedure, 2026.
A motion to accept the 2026.
I'll second.
By Ralph. Roll call vote.
Ralph Pacino,
Aye.
Kelly Cochran,
Aye.
Matt DeMarco, Tom Lynn,
Aye.
Thomas Stewart.
Aye. Public comments? Any public comments, open forum?
I got one, real quick, I'm sorry.
Sure.
On that last one for Morano, I didn't hear it, but maybe you said it, but I didn't pick up on your voice, sorry, but is that's gotta go to planning board or whatever too?
No.
For the 8 inches?
Site plan adjustment or something, that was part of the resolution I saw on the thing today. I don't remember you saying, so, did that change?
Got the resolution there.
The one that said something about maybe it's like
Yeah.
a update or something, you thought, oh, yeah.
The approved amended final site drawing is to be made part of the town's property file. The amended final site plan goes to the planning.
Says the amended final site plan drawing is to be approved by the planning board prior to the
It
issuance.
does come back. Thank you. It's-
Yeah.
Any other comments?
No.
No, okay, we'll move to the Director of Development update.
Okay, in addition to the pending moratorium, I have drafted some regulations on e-bikes that are being reviewed by the local and state law enforcement agencies. And as soon as I get acceptance from them that we're not stepping on somebody's toes, we'll put this forth for consideration. The only other comment I have is, it was interesting on the news the other night. There was a state assembly person from the New York City area that is now sponsoring a bill in the assembly for dark sky compliance. And when interviewed, she said that she realizes that this is a local matter that can be regulated by municipalities that have zoning laws. But she thinks it's just important enough to bring it to everybody's attention that it blocks the night sky in the more densely developed areas. We'll see where this goes. I'm sure there's more pressing issues in New York State than keeping the sky dark after 11 o'clock at night. But I'm sure that any criminals would love to hear that. That's all I got.
Paula?
You have a meeting next month, 3 applications. Solar variance, pole barn variant, height variance, and a temporary use permit for bridges, for brain injury.
No, I think they summed it up pretty good. Business is booming. Permits are starting to increase and keeping us busy.
Did you have something about bridges?
Motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.